Folks, it's time that we have an honest discussion about Luka Dončić, okay? Look, here's the thing.
Hey, heads up!
What the f***? Hey, that's our bad. Sorry. What the f***? We're sorry about that. What the f*** was that? The Dallas Mavericks are practicing threes and a wild brick came loose. That's on us. You couldn't have sent out a warning or something? Giving us a little heads up? Again, that's our bad. Yeah. Oh, great. Look, now I'm getting a notification. Warning, the Dallas Mavericks are practicing threes in your area. Please seek shelter immediately. Yeah, probably should have said that earlier. It's not our fault.
Heads up! Tim's about to shoot!
Folks, it's time we have an honest conversation about Luka Dončić following the Mavericks' Game 3 defeat against the Boston Celtics. They now trail the series 3-0. All historical indicators point towards this series being over. And unfortunately for Luka Dončić, he has become the talk of the town. He has become public enemy number one amongst national media pundits. This, of course, because Luka fouled out with 4 minutes left in the game, and his defense has just not really been good at all this series. In fact, it has been bad. I've talked about it on Locked On Mavericks. I talked about it on Locked On Mavericks after the game ended last night, that Luka's defense just has not been good enough in this series for the Mavericks to win, and that him fouling out in a game like last night where your season is practically on the line is completely and totally unacceptable, especially when considering the fact that I thought all of those fouls were genuine foul calls, and some of them were just pure frustration fouls that cannot happen. This led to a totally epic breakdown of Luka Dončić by Brian Windhorst over at the great worldwide leader of sports on SportsCenter. Everyone's sharing it. Oh, if I were Luka, I would retire after seeing this video. This is it for Luka. And you know what, guys? It is time that we have an uncomfortable conversation. All right? It's been long overdue, but it is now time. ESPN, your network is such fucking utter garbage, and it has completely and totally ruined the way that we talk about sports. It has completely and totally shattered sports content. It has turned sports discussion really into just nonsensical hot take fests. If you want to criticize Luka's defense, that's totally fine. I've done it myself. I've done it multiple times on this channel. I've done it during this series. If you want to say it's one of the reasons the Mavericks are struggling in this series, I think that's totally fine as well, because I would partially agree with you. But for Brian Windhorst to insinuate, again, on the worldwide leader of sports, that Luka Dončić is not a winner and he's not a winning basketball player, which is what he insinuated during that totally epic breakdown, it's fucking garbage and it's nonsensical. Let's just start with this, just in terms of winning. Luka Dončić made the Western Conference Finals this year for the second time in 4 years. No other team in the Western Conference can say the same thing. The Dallas Mavericks are the only team since 2021 to make the conference finals twice. That's it. The Western Conference Finals, I guess I should say. Twice. In fact, Luka and the Dallas Mavericks did so much winning this year that they made the NBA Finals. Remember, that's what we are discussing here. A team in the NBA Finals led by a player that is currently being labeled as a non-winning basketball player. They won more than 28 other teams in the NBA this year. In fact, they've won more than the Charlotte Hornets, the Los Angeles Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Minnesota Timberwolves have ever won in the history of their fucking franchises. All right, 1/6 of the NBA has never won as much as Luka Dončić has won this year. To take it a step further, the Dallas Mavericks, who are, again, in the NBA Finals, right, a dream destination for every fan base in the NBA, would love a chance to get swept in the NBA Finals. All right, Luka this postseason, the Mavericks are 19 points per 100 possessions better when Luka Dončić is on the floor. And would you believe this? Their defense is nearly 10 points per 100 possessions better when Luka is on the floor versus when he's off. Now, of course, the counter argument to this would be, well, yeah, Luka's playing 40 minutes a game. He's playing with all the starters. His on-off numbers should be good. But if he's so bad defensively, and he's such a non-winning basketball player, surely these would not be the numbers. In this series alone, the Mavericks are -4 in Luka's 118 minutes and -28 in the 26 minutes that he has been off of the court. I usually try not to get wrapped up in these horrible, stupid, nonsensical national media narratives, but it does piss me off a little bit when these people, these national media pundits, have to sit there in silence for months because everything that they thought about the Dallas Mavericks, everything that they thought about Luka Dončić, everything they thought about Luka Dončić and Kyrie Irving as a duo, they were completely proven wrong and made to look like fucking fools for months. Now they come out of the woodwork because they're losing in the NBA Finals against what is a historically great team by pretty much every single statistical indicator we have. A team that all year long we said it would be an embarrassment and a total failure if they do not win the NBA Finals. What are we doing? Does the national media think that you're stupid? The answer to that question is yes. Because look at how this slop is getting ate up, man. The answer to that question is yes. They think you're fucking stupid. Because most people consuming sports content from the national media are stupid when it comes to sports. Because that's what they've been fed for decades now. It's what they have been fed. They've been fed slop. So it's what they eat because they don't know any better. We could talk about Luka's defense and the Mavs defense as a whole. Here's the reality of the situation. The Celtics have not had an offensive rating of 118 or better in any of the first 3 games of this series. They only had one 3-game stretch like that all season long. They had one singular 3-game stretch all season long before this where they were held to an offensive rating of 118 or below for 3 straight games. And it was all the way back in November. Okay, so the Mavericks defense hasn't been great. It hasn't been perfect. It hasn't been good enough to win games, I don't think, especially in a series like this where you have to play nearly perfect to win. But it's been good enough, I think. Their offense cannot score. They cannot score points. How has the narrative shifted entirely to Luka's defense? I don't know. The Mavericks cannot score over 100 points. They haven't scored over 100 points yet. And this is all credit to the Boston Celtics. They've been incredible. The Celtics have been amazing in this series. It's just unfortunately how the narratives play out, especially in the NBA, it feels like more than any other sport I hear talked about, is that whenever a team loses, we are going to spend more time talking about the losing team, how they're going to blow up their roster, what they did wrong, how they're huge failures. Then we talk about the team that actually won the games. And the Celtics' defensive game plan has been unbelievable. It just has. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they're executing it to a T. No team in the NBA shot more corner threes just from a frequency standpoint than the Dallas Mavericks this season. Here's their numbers in this series. Game 1, 2.3% of their shots were corner threes. 2.3. Just for a frame of reference, during the regular season, 12% of their shots were corner threes. That was the most in the NBA. 2.3 in game 1. 5.6% of their shots were corner threes in game 2. 6.5 in game 3. That shot is just not there for the Dallas Mavericks. So the burden has been placed on Luka Dončić and Kyrie Irving offensively to absolutely carry the rest of the team. Luka's had fine scoring games. He was a little bit inefficient in game 3, but thought he was fine in game 1s and 2s besides, running out of steam a little bit in the fourth quarter, and I'm sure that's a problem that he can fix. And Kyrie Irving was a no-show in the first 2 games of the series, and he had a great game 3, but unfortunately Luka was a little bit inefficient and then unfortunately fouled out of the game in the fourth quarter. But they're just getting nothing from anyone else. That's just it. I mean, this series has proven just how insane the Celtics roster is, that they have so many guys and just 5 guys on the court at any given time who can shoot threes, they can drive, they can pass, they can finish at the rim, they just make great decisions. And the Mavericks really have 2 of those guys. DJ Washington and Josh Green are the only non-Luka and Kyrie players to hit multiple threes in this series for the Mavs. Josh Green has 2. The Celtics had 7 guys hit multiple threes in game 1 alone. Maxi Klebas played 42 minutes in this series. He scored 2 points. 2 total points. Tim Hardaway Jr. played 20 minutes in a do-or-die game. A must-win or your season is over game. Tim Hardaway Jr., who's been pretty much out of the rotation all playoffs long, played 20 minutes. And wouldn't you fucking guess it? He scored 0 points. He went 0 of 5. He played 20 minutes. Sorry, I know this video is helter-skelter. I really wasn't even planning on making a video. I didn't know what kind of video I wanted to make. Do I want to break down this game? I can't sit here and let national media narratives run rampant and people actually believe and are insinuating that Luka Dončić does not play winning basketball. It's preposterous. It's absurd. It's, in my opinion, an embarrassing take. Just full stop, an embarrassing take. It's not to say that Luka is perfect. It's not to say that Luka has done, he's without his flaws. Of course, that's not true. I do hope that this is a learning experience for Luka. He's 25 years old. This was his first NBA Finals. The Mavericks have gotten stomped up until this point. It's not over yet, technically, but they have gotten stomped up until this point. Luka's defense has been a problem. I just want to say this graphic floating around from ESPN stats of Luka's blow-by percentage, I think is incredibly misleading because I'm not even talking about the injuries. I'm talking about the fact that the Mavericks' defensive game plan is literally to funnel people into the rim so their shot blockers can contest shots, so that they can force tough mid-range jumpers, so that they can force kickouts to players they're comfortable shooting. And the Mavericks rotate, and they rotate incredibly well, and that's worked for them in previous series. They completely and totally stifled a Thunder offense that was incredible all season long. The Timberwolves look completely and totally helpless against this defense. The Celtics are just really fucking good. And this plays directly into the Celtics' hands. Has Luka needed to be better defensively? Yes, he has. I've said it myself. He has absolutely had to be better defensively. Can Luka foul out of a game like this? No, he cannot. Can Luka spend all game flopping and yelling and complaining at refs in a game like this? No, he cannot. These are learning experiences, okay? But we're not about to sit here and pretend like Luka Dončić is not a winning basketball player. It is preposterous. It's absurd. Colin Cowherd saying that Luka Dončić is just a better Carmelo Anthony. Luka Dončić could retire right now and he would have had a better career than Carmelo Anthony did by a million miles. I don't give a fuck about Melo's scoring numbers, the longevity numbers. I do not care, okay? Luka is by far a better player currently than Carmelo Anthony ever was. It's not even close. I say this as somebody who grew up watching Carmelo Anthony. I say this as somebody who loved Carmelo Anthony. In the last 3 seasons, Luka Dončić has won 5 playoff series. His team was the favorite in one of those series. So I'm just sitting here and acting like he's not a winner because his defense hasn't been good in the series. It's fucking horrible. It's horrible. This is the last time, hopefully, I feel the need to rant about the national media because I'm good at ignoring them. I just am. I cannot allow this. I simply can't. Mavs in 7, still on the table. Shout out to the Celtics, man. They played great basketball. They really have. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Holy shit. He is a nightmare.
Heads up, Tim's about to shoot.